to the Sharing You Show. My name is Christy Hunter. I am their host, and today I have a beautiful guest, Niurka, who is coming to talk to us about her amazing life and all the things that she is currently doing. And we're so excited to have her here today. Um, can you introduce yourself and just tell us where you're from?
I'm Niurka, and I'm zooming in from Miami. Um,
Miami.
my, a little bit about me. I'm a veteran. And sorry about the background noise right now.
It's busy, huh? There's lots. It sounds like there's lots of people.
That's the richness of being a Cuban family. There's always some background music or noise.
Everyone's into everything. I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
but I'm veteran and then became an entrepreneur. It has been an amazing journey because I get to try different hats. I get to explore my ideas and act on it, especially. Um,
I
I try to create and do things that leave an impact, always starting with care. And that's what the umbrellas come from, the heart shaped umbrellas come from, because they're pretty much weaving everything I do as a symbol, a physical symbol of what we do. I have a special care for veterans because I'm a veteran. I see all the struggles and everything that they had to go through after they leave the military. So I do a lot of things that help them, like my show, my movie now about suicide awareness. But I also love creativity because I think creativity is healing. It's like opening a door to magic. If you allow
yes.
yourselves to
To be
be
creative.
creative, it can take you in so many different ways that you can even imagine when you started. And that's something that we can offer everybody. So I try to do that as well. And advocate for creativity and advocate for living your best life and saying yes, especially to yourself.
I love that. I love that. And being an advocate, I love the idea of being an advocate for so many. The fact that you're an advocate for the veterans and an advocate for making change happen and making people aware of suicide and the problems that are happening with people as they come back from serving in the military. That is such a huge need that you are filling. And that's remarkable. So thank you, thank you, thank you for coming on our show today to talk about it a little bit. I did give you a list of questions that we're going to go through to help us know more about you a little bit and more about what you're working on. So, looking back on your life's journey, what were the passions that you had as a child that kind of evolved into what your current passions are?
I think the biggest passion I ever had, and it has followed me through my whole life, I was book addict. They actually used to call me as a little nickname, bookworm, because I was always reading. From the moment that somebody put this magical book on my hands, around age 9, I was just consuming books. I got the Christie, Emily I got it from classics to everything I can find. And that was the first time I got to travel. I got to travel using my imagination. I went in so many ships, like being a pirate, being a conqueror. It was amazing. And I really enjoyed the power storytelling and how you can take that everywhere. And that's something that I keep all my life. I see the power that bringing storytelling to everything that you do when you speak, when you tell a story, when you do an interview. It just makes everything so much better because there's a little thing. We listen. That's those three little words. Let me tell you a story. And people are like, oh, yes, I'm going to listen.
Right? Oh, yes.
So,
And it does. You're right. It like makes you excited when someone says, "Let me tell you a story," or "I have a story." You're all ears. You want to know more. So,
yes.
no, I love that you have that passion for books. I also have always loved to read, and my children are avid readers. I love that how you said that's where you got to travel, because how fun is it that we can travel in our imagination and go anywhere? it really is an opening to all of the world. So that was very cool. I loved that.
Literally, because I was in Cuba. I grew up in Cuba.
Mm-hmm.
So having a passport wasn't a choice back then. Having going living anywhere, even from my native city to another part of the region, it wasn't easy,
That
and that
was
was
your
the key.
only way to travel at that time.
And that was the key. Yes.
In 30 seconds, so just in a short introduction, how would you define your unique identity and the essence of who you are today? With what your company is, with who you're serving, if you could give a 30-second pitch of this is who I am and what I do. What would you say?
In 30 seconds, I will say that I'm an advocate of change and positivity, and explore first and ever. I'm very passionate about ideas. I love to figure out. I enjoy the ups and downs of everything I do, from being a mother to being a veteran to being a person, making people smile and help spark that little positivity and creativity in others. That's I think that's what I want to be remembered for, and that's what I strive to be every day. Have a insatiable curiosity about the
Mm-hmm.
world. I
Yes.
love to learn so many facts and little things that I get around. But I believe that in the power of sharing, the power of sharing education, especially. So I don't keep it for me. I try to share with others, and in a way that people listen.
That you I love the idea that you want to be remembered for this idea of sharing and being creative and helping others find their creativity. You're making a difference in people's lives. um, if you were to look back on your life, is there a challenge that you had to overcome?
One of the biggest challenges that I had to overcome was leaving the military. I joined it when just 1 year after coming here to the US. I was 19 at the time, and they took me everywhere, and they become my life for over 25 years. So going back, even if I came back to family and where at point zero where I started here in the US, it wasn't the same. It was completely a shock, not just for me, but for my kids. And I have all these obligations without a job to help the transition. So it was a big shock, and I had to reevaluate my life. I had to figure out as I go. And that's how I ended up going back to school, learning that I love to learn. I used to skip school before. Now I used to go.
That's
I
like,
have to
I'll pay you to
pay me
teach
to
me.
be. And that's how I discovered entrepreneurship. And entrepreneurship, I think it just opened the door to being creative. And I love it. And I think it helped. That's what helped me transition. And it's not a ending thing. It's not something that you do in one day. It's not a magical cure. In some ways, I'm still transitioning 7 years later, but it does help.
To have that entrepreneurship, to have that company, to have the things that you're doing.
Yes, because the thing about entrepreneurship is all about doing. It's all about exploring. It's all about being creative, thinking your feet, being resilient. It was something it was fostered in the military, but now I can add the secret sauce that's being creative and just choosing what I want to do and how I'm going to do it,
Mm-hmm. Instead
and
of just
having
being
a passion
assigned.
for it.
Like in the military, it's more here's your job, you have to do it, but it's not necessarily the thing that drives your heart or what you wanted per se. Somebody else's goal.
No, it was about the overall mission, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now I set the mission, I set the goal, and I said
Yeah.
how I'm going to accomplish it. And sometimes I might just go a little turn in the road and end up in New Mexico instead of going to the original plan. And but that's part of it. That's part of the fun.
Part of the journey. That's that's amazing. And so when you were in the military, what was this is off topic, but I'm so curious. What was your assignments in the military? What area
I
were you
was
serving in?
I was the queen of logistics.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
I actually, that's what I did for over 25 years, logistics. And I think I'm so proud being part of the quartermaster branch because everything in life requires logistics. Everything you have to coordinate from plan A to plan C. How you going to get there? How you going to make it happen? So in the military, of course, this EA is different. It's about moving soldiers, moving the make sure the food is in there, making sure the weapons. But when you boil it down to what it is, it's making things happen.
Having a plan and then seeing it through, making sure that
Yeah.
it executes exactly how it's supposed to. That's an
I,
incredible skill. Like that is an incredible skill. There are so many people in this world who don't have that or possess that skill to be able to create an action plan and follow through with it. So how amazing that you have 25 years of experience doing that is a wealth of knowledge.
yeah.
Yeah.
And knowing how to create a process to make it easier and
Mm-hmm.
effective. Like you don't want to go point A to point D, then going back to point A to go to point C. No, you want to go that's more straightforward that
Mm-hmm.
you can to get it done.
Definitely. Wow. I love that. Okay, what are the primary goals that you are currently pursuing? So, what are the steps you're taking to achieve your current big goal?
So my goal right now, and working on this movie project, it's a documentary movie, and it's putting all those resources together. And when I talk about resources, I talk about people, making sure I have the conversation with the right people that can provide the value that I want for this movie. That is, it's about saving lives.
Mm.
And so getting the financials in place because everything has a cost. Being bootstrap as much as possible to lower that cost, but eventually have reach as many people as possible and share as much as possible. So that's one of the goals I have right now. And I'm being very fortunate. So many people open the doors, so many people reach out, but there's always room for more.
For sure. And are you looking for investors to help get the movie created, or are you looking for people to help spread the word with the trailer that's been made? Or are you looking for people to interview? What do you need to make that actually happen?
A little bit of both, a little bit of all three of them, right? And it depends on what you want to help with. If you can only afford to share, wow, if we can reach 5 people because of you, that's amazing. Because you never know what people are going through. And yes, this is geared toward veterans, but how many suicides is an epidemic? It's a national epidemic. And when we're talking about how to have a conversation to stop it, how to stop making it a taboo, we had the benefit to listen from doctors in the field that specialize in this. It can be the same that can make a change in somebody's life. Learning how to deal with depression and don't get to that point where everything is so dark that you don't see a way out.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a very easy temporary solution that if you take it, there's no turning back. But it doesn't mean that stop because that person would leave so many ripple effects during all those people around him or her for the rest of their life
Yeah.
because we are going to be impacted by that decision. I know somebody, a family member actually, that almost 40 years later is still looking for answers.
Oh, so.
Why I wasn't enough. And probably at that moment, it wasn't about him.
Yeah.
It was that person that saw a way out.
Well, and the pain, right? You when you get into that place that you feel like there's no way out except that you have no choice
Yeah.
is a hard
And
place to get
and
to.
it, and, and it's something that affects everybody. It affects our teenagers. There's
Mm-hmm.
epidemic in our teenagers right now
Yeah.
because they're suffering for high amounts of depression. It
Teenagers and
happens.
college kids. I know in my area, suicide amongst college age students is skyrocketing.
So that's why we kind of have to normalize it. Like the Me Too movement kind of move the needle to normalize trauma. It's the same thing because we need to be able to normalize it in order to be able to speak about it in an intelligent way. It's not about pointing fingers. It's not about, oh, just get over it. Like,
Well, and
no.
being able to ask for help, right? I think people think if I tell somebody that I'm feeling this way, they're going to think I need more medication, or they're going to think that it's in my head, or it's not real, or and there are these stigmas, right, that we have, instead of being able to just talk openly and say, I'm feeling really down right now. I'm having these thoughts. I need help. And then addressing them in a way that doesn't make someone feel less or feel like it was a
And
mistake to confide in you.
and that's something else of like veterans, especially veterans. We have this complex of we live a life of adrenaline. We
Mm-hmm.
live a life of being warriors, confronting danger, always living with the possibility we're going to go to war. Sometimes asking for help might be like a sign of weakness, but we need to remember
Yeah,
that we still have a mission. And when we're not here, we're not here to make sure that that mission keep happening.
that's
So it's that change of perspective of what are you really meant to be. And I know very successful people, and some of them are going to be in this movie, that they had that moment
mm-hmm.
and how they overcome it, you know.
And finding that higher purpose, right? That why I should stay alive. What is my life meant to be, right? So that when the going gets hard, you do keep stepping through. That's actually one thing that I have been learning about is breakthrough, when we have these limiting beliefs that stop us from moving forward, stop us from healing, stop us from reaching those goals we want to reach. And I know I experienced a breakthrough experience with Forbes Riley in her group, and that's actually where I met you, Niurka. Um, and have you witnessed some of Forbes Riley's breakthrough sessions that she's done?
Yes, I saw three or her bracelets. They were amazing. I think she can get uh, people lower the barriers and open up in a way that is amazing.
She really, it really is. I truly believe that she has a gift of helping people to open up and find that thing that's stopping them. And in my experience with her, I was being stopped by blaming everyone else for where I was in life, instead of accepting that where I was in life was my own choices. And I had to stop living small and start stepping out to be bigger, right? And start believing in myself and my ability to make music and my ability to do a talk show, to my ability to do these things. So, because of the great experience I had, I decided I wanted to learn more about breakthrough, and I went on to start a training program with the Chris Chrome Foundation, Breakthrough Foundation, to get certified. And what we've been learning about is something very cool. It's called lightning breakthrough. And the reason I think lightning breakthrough is so amazing is it's something we can do ourselves every single day. So, though having a coach and doing a huge breakthrough session with a certified coach is amazing, I encourage anybody who has any big traumas or any feelings that they can't do them by themselves, please do reach out and do that, because it is life changing. But the idea of being able to just in a day, when we're feeling stuck in ourselves, look at ourselves and see how we can break through that small thing that's stopping us from moving forward, I think is so beneficial. And it's called a lightning breakthrough. So I'm going to share my screen so you can see the step by step guide. So when we do a lightning breakthrough, it's easy steps to do this process. And the first step is we ground in gratitude, joy, and love. So we want to make sure that we're in a space where we're grateful for being alive today. I'm grateful for all of the things I've been given. I want you to think of a statement of gratitude, one statement of something that brings you joy, and one statement that is something that you love, and just make three statements.
Mm.
Do you need to get some water? So the steps that this takes is, first we ground in gratitude, joy, and love. So I want you to make one sentence, like I'm grateful for fill in the blank. This brings me joy, and choose what it is when you think about it that brings you joy. And I love something, either a person you love or a thing you love or what you love doing. But make 3 statements, and that will be our first step.
Okay. So 3 statements about being grateful.
One grateful, one on joy, and one with love.
I'm grateful for being in this country. Um, being a citizen, not just by choice, but by heart. And the other one was
Joy.
and joyful about getting to live a life full of purpose. And I love being a mother.
Now, as we think about those things, I now want you to think about what the goal is of achieving this movie that you're trying to make to get awareness out on suicide. And do you think there one limiting belief that comes to mind that's currently in the way, that's stopping you from achieving that?
Yes, there's definitely a lot of always a lot of crisis, crisis, money crisis. So they can get in the way every once in a while. But I think it's about changing the perspective. It's changing, just figuring out another way. If something gets difficult for a reason, maybe it's because it need a little tweak, and we can do it. We can accomplish it another way.
So, a limiting belief could be crisis always gets in the way, or things are getting in the way. Maybe is a limiting belief that just stuff is always in the way.
Hmm. Yeah, and sometimes it's not on control.
Yeah,
Uh,
for sure.
People will get sick.
Mm-hmm.
People will have their own experiences,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes you just have to be there without forgetting what you're doing.
So, what is the limiting belief about yourself, though? So those are those outside things that we can't control. What could be a limiting belief that's purely about you? For example, I used to have a limiting belief when I before I started releasing my songs, that my songs weren't interesting enough, because we don't have control over other people, you're right. But is there any sort of a belief that is more specifically with Niurka, like,
Yeah, I think we have the if I'm good enough, right? If I'm going to do a good job.
I'm going to do a good job. Okay, I don't know if it's going to be good enough. I'm not good enough. So when we think that, we think, I'm not good enough. What's the cost? Our step 2 is thinking about, if we keep thinking that, if we keep thinking, oh, it's not good, it's not going to be good enough. And I do that too, Niurka. I want you to know, every time I'm going to release a song, I in my head, I'm like, is it good enough? Is anyone going to like it? What am I doing? How do I? It's a thing that we have in our thought processes. But if we keep listening to that, what are the consequences of continually listening to that thought?
We get self doubt. We amplify our fears. While if we change it, I think we all have our own unique perspective that we bring to the table.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's just about finding those people that can help you get back into course and amplify the skills that you already have.
For sure.
Uh,
Because if we keep doing that, and we'll get stuck, it will stop us. It will stop us from moving forward. And I love what you said about finding the right people to come around and help us feel like we can do it, feel like we can accomplish it. So in step 2, what we do is analyze the consequences of not changing our thought processes, okay? And in step 3, we decide on a new belief. So instead of I'm not enough, or it's not good enough, right? It's not good enough. I'm not good enough. We want a new belief, and we want the new belief to be very personal, powerful, and present, like it's happening now as we create this new belief. And so I want you to think about a new belief that would incorporate all of those things. It could be something like, I am enough, or my video will save lives. I am saving lives. But what is a statement that you feel could be powerful that you could replace I'm not good enough that could help you move forward?
I will be saving life. I will be. I will do it.
So
I will make
instead
it with
of
care.
will, I want you to say I am.
I am.
I am saving lives.
I am saving lives.
I am changing the world.
And I'm changing the world.
I want you to tap
Yeah.
that right here into your heart. Just tap it right here. I am saving lives.
I am saving lives. And I'm changing the world. And I'm making a legacy
Making a
that my kids
legacy.
be proud of.
Yes. Wow. Wow. How does that feel?
Awesome.
That feels good, right? That powerfulness that we can do that. And we can go through that process, that simple 3-step process, any time of day when we're starting to feel doubt. If we're starting to feel doubt, if we're starting to feel scared, anxiety, fear, overwhelm, right? All of those emotions start to come. We can do a lightning breakthrough. We can stop and we can ground. What am I grateful for? What brings me joy? What do I love? What is the limiting belief that's stopping me right now? What is that costing me? And what am I going to change that to so that I can keep moving forward? Because you are going to change the world. You are saving lives because you've already started making this video and talking to soldiers and talking to people who know what is needed to change the world's view on suicide so that we can be talking about it more open. And you are a powerhouse in the fact that you have already created this and started this movement. So I'm so grateful that you would share this with me. So you will get a copy of the lightning breakthrough. I will send that to you so that you can use it every day that you want to as you move forward to achieve your goals. I'd love for you to share any more information that you want to about your program and the things that you're doing so that people who are listening will know how to find you. Will you tell us how we can get in contact and help you on your mission?
Yes, definitely. I shared the link for Umbrella Splash Magazine,
We'll
and
put
that will have,
that will be in the show notes. So below our video, you'll for sure have the link in order to go to her site.
yeah, you can subscribe to that because we're going to keep everything updated and there about all these projects that we're working on and where you can find us, where you can share with others. So it's free. It won't cost you anything to subscribe. It just keep you informed of where what's going on, what's happening, and it's full of creativity. Because I remember an advocate of creativity. This magazine is actually made more than a dash of creativity, and it's meant to spark your own. It's about business. It's about art. It's about culture. It's about everything positive, and it's about spreading.
So much for joining me today. This was just a
Thank
joy
you.
to have you on my show. And thank you for sharing you because you are
Thank you.
amazing. All right,
Thank
we'll
you.
see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.